The ideas that gave birth to our nation are the ideas that our nation is resistant to right now, and we should talk about that all the time.
In a world where narratives are shaped by corporations and gatekeepers, independent voices matter more than ever. Badlands Media brings together citizen journalists, researchers, and independent thinkers.
The truth is triggering.
Question the narrative. Explore the facts.
It's authenticity, courage, resilience.
Search for the truth others won't.
It's not about being first or being right.
The information war is changing.
It's about being authentic.
Embrace the friction.
Embrace the friction.
Shut the f*** up.
Authentically antagonizing. Join the movement.
I'm going to say how I feel.
Follow Badlands Media.
This is about the future.
The Badlands. What are the Badlands? Explain those Badlands. That's a hell of a name.
Okay.
Well, good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the Daily Herald here on Badlands Media. I'm your host, Jon Herold. Hope you're all having a wonderful day today so far. Hope you guys all tuned into last night's Power Hour, too. I thought me and Burning Bread had a pretty good discussion. I know I think there's like two other shows on right now, if I'm not mistaken. I think Ghost is doing a kind of surprise bonus episode, and I think The Choice is still going, although it might be wrapping up. But yeah, for those who don't know, Ghost, he's having to get a real job. I guess maybe I shouldn't say anything because I thought I saw he announced it. So he might be switching up the time of some of his streams. He's still going to contribute to Badlands and whatnot when he can. It's just going to change his schedule a little bit. So I'm just throwing that out there. But today's show, there's a bunch of random stories that I think are pretty interesting. A couple of election-related stories as well that I want to dive into. The government, Congress, they are voting to try to tie Trump's hands when it comes to Iran. And yeah, we'll see. We'll see what else comes up. Kelly Ozoke, I'm wondering if Israel will award me a service medal. Why would you get a service medal? What are you doing? That'd be pretty cool. Maybe. I don't know. How come AI made all of you more attractive? Don't know what you mean by that, but you're welcome. New case, AOC thinks a lobotomy is getting your ears pierced. Yeah, she's not the brightest bulb in the knife drawer. Yeah, Clerkette says he did announce it. Good for Ghost. Yeah, we tried, to make it something that he could do full time, like this full time. That's the ultimate goal with all this stuff. And we were on track, I think, with a lot of people, and obviously with the lawsuit. I'm not able to help out as many people as I would like to, but we'll get him back full time eventually. Once that's over and things pick back up again, we'll get him out of there. But for the time being, that's what he's up to. I was just gonna say something. Now I don't remember what it was. There's a comment in the chat. Oh, okay. So first or second-ish week of Florida, I think it's the weekend of August 8th. So it'd be the first weekend in August. We are looking, I'm going to be in Florida. Me and my girlfriend, we're going to be down there to visit some of our family. And we are probably looking to do some sort of Badlanders meetup. And I don't know where yet. I'm talking to a few people down there to help coordinate it. But I just wanted to throw it out there. I think we're going to have to do it on Sunday, August 9th. Again, location is TBD. But if you're in Florida and want to come hang out, we're going to be doing something down there on that Sunday. So just tentatively mark your calendars, and I'll have more information for you once we get things solidified. But let's get a quick word from those who make this show possible, our sponsors. At least one of them right now, or two of them right now, and then we'll do one more a little bit later in the show. And then we're going to start plugging away through the news. So first up, we got Save Pulse Unexpected health emergencies do not wait. And with Save Pulse, you can stay prepared from trusted medications like amoxicillin, azithromycin, ivermectin, and hydroxychloroquine to the medical emergency kit designed to help support over 30 common illnesses. Save Pulse makes it easy to stock up on essential health supplies. At Save Pulse, keeping your family prepared has never been easier, and it's all delivered through a simple, streamlined ordering process at prices you can feel good about. Whether you need an emergency kit or you're stocking up on everyday essentials, now's the time to be ready for whatever comes your way. Visit badlandsmedia.tv/meds today and use promo code Badlands. You can save up to 20% off. That's badlandsmedia.tv/meds, promo code Badlands. And then another sponsor I want to highlight is us, Soft Disclosure.
One hero, one mission, to deliver softness to America.
No, Chi-Chi, we can't stop your snacks, dude. We have to deliver all of these Soft Disclosure gift cards.
He goes by Zach Payne.
The motion detector.
Hey, stop fighting over the beer brush.
Life finds a way.
Hydrate your elbows, moisturize your soul. Feel the rhythm together. You feel alive and let the lotion roll. Soft disclosure, hear the cry. Maximum softness, do or die.
Muffin, hit it.
Softdisclosure.com, promo code Muffin. Hit it. Guys, make sure you get on that. Get yourself some Soft Disclosure. Support Badlands Media in the process. It's a win-win for everybody. You get awesome moisturized skin, maybe a great beard oil or some non-stinky pits, and the creators at Badlands benefit from it. All right, let's start plugging away. We got some gold and silver prices down a hair from yesterday. Let me refresh. Gold's at 4,066. Silver under 60 at 58.58. River right now, Bitcoin has come down a little bit from yesterday, 66,000. It is at 64.7. And then we got gas prices, which are continuing to rise, and it's up to $4.09 for the national gas average. And that is unfortunate, but expected considering the ongoing Iran conflict. And speaking of that, let's talk about what the RINOs and the Dems are doing. House RINOs joined the Democrats in a symbolic vote to tie Trump's hands on Iran. In a predictable partisan stunt, House Democrats pushed through a war powers resolution Thursday aimed at restricting President Trump's authority to confront Iran, scraping by with a razor-thin 214 to 208 vote. 4 Republican defectors, which are Reps Warren Davidson, Brian Fitzpatrick, Tom Barrett, and Thomas Massey, crossed the aisle to back the measure led by Democrat Pramila Jayapal. The resolution is largely theater as it would face significant hurdles in the Senate, but the vote marks the second time the House has passed a similar resolution seeking to limit Trump's military operations in Iran. What I think is notable about this, it's all narrative. That's all it is the Democrats, like the one thing they can do right now is be the rallying cry against this unpopular war. Because no matter how you want to spin it, guys, it's not a popular war. It's just not. Some people have excused it away for a while, and I've even done that myself. Whatever Trump's reasons are for being there, he's not telling us what they are. We're guessing. We've speculated many times, and I do trust that he is doing what is in the best interest of all of us. But I've always said I'm not a big fan of us being involved in a foreign conflict, and a lot of people feel that way. But this is one thing that they're going on like, oh well, we voted against it. We voted against it. Not that that'll really matter, I don't think, but just throwing it out there. St. Pete 70, that headline sounds a bit bondage-esque. New Case, I still maintain that Hydrate Your Elbows is the biggest hit song of 2026. Yeah. CC, hey, a little too far for us. We'll be in town for the purpose of spending time with family. Yeah, we're probably going to do that meetup in the Jupiter area. What's up, 1-0 gal now? You've been out of it following foot surgery 2 weeks ago. Man, I hope everything's okay. We'll keep you in our prayers. Hammer Guy 35, Raytheon and Lockheed love the war. Yeah, I know it's not a war. It's a military conflict. However you want to say it, people are not fans of it. But we do have some posts from Trump. This was yesterday. I don't think I mentioned this. Trump orders CENTCOM to open up the gates of hell after U.S. troops killed and launches strikes on Iran. They keep doing more strikes over there. He did talk about the civil nuclear deal with Saudi Arabia that we mentioned yesterday, and I think this is notable. The civil nuclear deal, there will be no enrichment of material, allegedly, being made between the United States Department of Energy and Saudi Arabia, which pertains only to non-military use, such as the ones that Iran and the UAE and others already have, will be approved, but it is totally subject to Saudi Arabia joining the very respected and successful Abraham Accords. The United States is not opposed to civil, non-enriched nuclear facilities. Thank you for your attention to this matter, President Donald J. Trump. So he's tying Saudi Arabia. If they want to do this deal, they have to normalize relations with Israel. And I'm curious to see how Saudi Arabia responds and if they're already okay with that, because the deal's already been announced. So does that mean Saudi Arabia is on board or not? But either way, I'm curious. This is what Trump said. Was this morning? The 23rd? It was this morning. A year ago, the United States of America attacked very powerfully the Houthis for their interference with commerce and trade by shooting at ships. Since that time and during our conflict with Iran, they have acted very responsibly. Unfortunately, now they are starting up again, shooting at 2 Saudi Arabian ships last night. Please let this truth serve to represent that if they do this again, the U.S. will hold Iran responsible, in that the Houthis are a surrogate and or proxy of Iran, and major military punishment will be inflicted upon Iran and, of course, the Houthis themselves, who I am very disappointed with in that they have. I'm very disappointed with in that they have, until now, acted very professionally and smart. Thank you for your attention to this matter. He's not angry. He's just disappointed with the Houthis. Thought that was a funny post. And yeah, I think that's actually it for True Social posts. Kind of a low-key True Social day for Trump. St. Pete 70 says, Asian guy walks into a bar. He sits down at the bar and starts drinking a beer. The guy next to him asks, you know Kung Fu or karate or any of this? The Asian guy replies, why do you ask this? Is it because I'm Chinese? The other guy replies, no, it's because you're drinking my effing beer. That's funny. X1776, Rumble keeps buffering. Had to pull the X feed in Rumble chat. Yeah, that's so weird. Burn Spy, good to see you, man. Trump must be aware of his base not loving the conflict, and yet he still creates and allows so much disinformation around the subject. Intriguing. I mean, that's definitely a great way to look at it. We always say that, Trump has more access to information than anybody in the world, and Trump knows better than anybody that the polls are fake. They know the real sentiment out there. And so maybe, our perception of what's going on with the conflict, maybe it's flawed. Maybe my perception is flawed. Although I did just get a DM yesterday from a guy, a Badlander, guy I met in Kansas City. I'm going to read this. I hope he's okay with it. I'm not going to say who it is or anything. I'm just going to read it's a conversation from his private Facebook group. And they have a chat where they're discussing all sorts of political things. And he says, this is the sentiment that keeps echoing from a majority of his normie friends. Okay. Let's do here. What's the incentive for Republicans to vote? And this is some random person. This is not him. He's taking a screenshot of other people in their comments. So it's not even a Badlander saying these things. What's the incentive for Republicans to vote? This is guy A. That's what I'm hearing. No Save Act, high gas, war in Iran, groceries still high. That's what I'm hearing. And then somebody else responded, I get what you mean. The incentive is that Democrats are infinitely worse. Gas will eventually come down, and I think inflation did come down a little bit too. And the guy A responds, yeah, that is true, but with many voters, that's not enough to want to vote. Gas came down, and now it's back up again. And this war definitely ain't ending. Trump should have annihilated them in the first 2 months, not waited out, give them endless ceasefires, only for this to now take off again in the middle of summer. They totally miscalculated. And then the person responded, I have to agree. He should have just fully annihilated them early on. I don't get why Trump seems so hesitant to go full throttle on things. He can't run for re-election. So what does he have to lose? I disagree with that part. I think he can run for re-election. Then the person says, I admit the Epstein thing was mishandled, but the whole he's owned by Israel is so tiring. He's obviously not. But lots of them think otherwise, and that can hurt. That's what the guy said in response. So the reason I read all that is just I like to beta test and like get feedback from my normie friends about how things are going. Like we'll randomly talk golf and send memes back and forth, and then I'll be like, hey, what do you think of XYZ? Some just random question. Like last week was a good example when I texted them, did you guys watch Trump's presser? What'd you think? And 2 of the 4 guys didn't even know it was going on. The other 2 said they didn't watch it. Like the beta testing with your normie friends, I think is good because we can get stuck in a bubble, and we do quite often. And so the reason I'm saying all this, I believe Trump has access to more information than anybody else. And I think he knows better than anybody what people's real sentiments are surrounding the conflict. He knows, I think, that people are kind of over it. It's given them the ick. Let's say that. It seems to be only John. What seems to be only me? Rumble acting up? Dang it. Come on, guys. I'm sorry. Let me give you the YouTube link. If you are watching, please join us on YouTube. I wonder why nobody else is having issues. Realist Prep, we're going to Jupiter. Yes, I think we should come to Jupiter. What's up, Ash? And August 9th again for the potential Jupiter meetup. If we do it there, we might change, but it'll be in that general area, hopefully. But okay, let's go back to, what was I talking about? We could do this. Another conflict Trump is working towards resolving. Remember, Kash Patel is going to Russia in October to meet with his counterpart over there. Not sure if he's going to meet with Putin yet. But anyway, Rubio says the U.S. is ready to help end Ukraine war after meeting with Lavrov. And here I thought we were trying to help end that thing this entire time. But now we're finally ready. The U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio said Thursday that the United States remains prepared to play a constructive role in ending the war in Ukraine. Following talks with Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov on the sidelines of an ASEAN meeting in Manila, Rubio stated that President Trump has made clear America is willing to help facilitate an end to the senseless war if the opportunity arises. We had a good conversation, a frank conversation. We are prepared to play a constructive role in bringing about the end. Lavrov reaffirmed Russia's readiness for a political and diplomatic settlement. Rubio noted the heavy toll of the conflict, including civilian deaths, Russian strikes, blah, 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 blah. It almost seems like that war was completely put on the back burner, and it's not going to actually be addressed until we figure out whatever this Iran conflict is. RR Hody, have been on Rumble a while today. I haven't noticed any issues aside from ghost freezing and now John. I don't know what. Yeah, maybe they're being hacked by OpenAI right now. Why is Rumble running ads every few minutes? I was late. Is the show recorded? No, it is not recorded. This is live. I don't know why it's doing that. Sometimes it does, though, if you don't have a premium subscription. Melania Wolf is filing a motion for sanctions against Michael Wolff, journalist Michael Wolff, after he unsuccessfully sued her to block her $1 billion defamation lawsuit. Wolff had claimed Melania was heavily involved in the Jeffrey Epstein scandal. Her team sent a pre-action notice demanding retraction, but Wolff ignored it, filed the failed lawsuit instead. A federal judge tossed Wolff's case earlier this year, calling it a contorted effort and not how the federal courts work. Melania's legal team says sanctions are warranted because Wolff manufactured a jurisdictional dispute to keep the case in New York State Court, used litigation for improper purposes, and made frivolous claims lacking evidentiary support. First Lady is seeking costs and reasonable attorney's fees, arguing Wolff's lawsuit was a fundraising drive and political spectacle. Plaintiff and his counsel asserted a legally frivolous claim, propped up with factual contentions that lacked any evidentiary support, and used them to run a political and commercial campaign, the filing states. I just want you guys to note this because in the future, I'm going to be basically filing the same thing against my counterparts and multiple other people for this exact reason. Like how the whole thing was manufactured, contrived, and people did a whole bunch of social media and Rumble campaigns supporting the effort when all of it was BS and legally frivolous. So I thought that was an interesting story. House Judiciary is referring Jack Smith to the DOJ for false statements under oath. House Judiciary Committee, I think it was Rand Paul who did it, has referred former special counsel Jack Smith to the Department of Justice for criminal prosecution, citing strong evidence he knowingly made false statements during his December 17, 2025 sworn deposition. In the letter dated July 22nd to Acting Attorney General Todd Blanche, the committee states Smith's testimony directly contradicts new DOJ documents obtained by lawmakers. During the Biden-Harris DOJ's Arctic Frost probe into the 2020 election, investigators unconstitutionally subpoenaed phone records of over a dozen. This is all about the Arctic Frost, getting phone records and text messages from Congress and whatnot. I wouldn't be surprised if they do bring an action, but I will say, do you guys remember the last time that Congress has referred somebody to the DOJ for prosecution and the DOJ actually successfully prosecuted that individual based on the referral? Does anybody, I don't even know, like this is a genuine question. I'm going to look this up. When was the last time a criminal referral from Congress successfully ended in the let's see what happens. Like, so I'm thinking like Bannon maybe and Navarro for their contempt. I can't think of anybody from the Trump administration where that's happened and been done successfully. Comey, but he's not in jail yet, and he's probably going to get out, if I had to guess. Yeah, the most recent example appears to be Steve Bannon. House voted on October 21st to hold Bannon in criminal contempt. Peter Navarro is another recent example. Okay, anybody else besides Bannon and Navarro? Because if that's it, I mean, that isn't that kind of notable that it's not a very, when it is used, it doesn't typically result in actual, criminal. It doesn't amount to anything when we're the side that does it. It works against Trump's allies. We have a political judiciary. They were the first in decades. The clearest earlier examples are the Hollywood 10 in 1947. So it doesn't happen often. Second chance. There's no point in saying nothing will happen. I didn't say nothing will happen. I'd just be surprised if something does happen. Jeff Forrest gifted 5 subscriptions. Thank you so much, sir. Appreciate you. Roger Stone, no, his was different. That wasn't from Congress. I'm tired of defending the positions of these topics when people say nothing will happen. Nobody's asking you to defend it. You're like yelling at yourself, bro. Keith O'Higgins just got a subscription, bro. What's going on there? Okay, let's keep going. What story? Oh, here's a story from yesterday we should talk about.
Tonight's massive Powerball drawing. For the first time, residents of the United Kingdom will be able to win the jackpot. Yesterday, tickets went on sale all over the UK. So the good news, the lottery says by expanding the pool of ticket buyers, the top prize will grow faster and higher without raising the $2 ticket price or changing the odds of winning as low as they are. The bad news, of course, is that someone across the pond could end up hitting the jackpot and winning all that money. It is a good time for new players to get in on the action. Tonight's jackpot is worth a whopping $567 million, or about 423 million British pounds. The odds of winning remain at 292 million to 1.
Regardless, you got a chance.
There's always a chance.
There's always a chance.
Regardless of which side of the Atlantic you buy your tickets, Those are the odds, unfortunately. Anyone feeling lucky here?
Yeah.
So the Powerball is opening up to international participants. And I posted about, I said, now that their USAID scheme has ended, which, to be completely accurate, USAID still exists. They got rid of about, I don't know how many exactly, but there's still like 1,000 programs within USAID that exist. And it's just under the State Department now. And I think we should get rid of any type of foreign aid 100% across the board. That is my belief, my mindset. And I'm not straight from that. But now that they're like, the bulk of their scheme has ended, they're having to find new, more creative ways to launder money overseas. And I do think this is interesting that USAID is not as effective for them as it used to be. And now all of a sudden they're opening up the Powerball to international participants. Like, what are the odds? How many, it'll just be interesting to see who actually wins these things if they come public with who it is and like how we're going to be able to connect them to Democrat money laundering schemes. Gator Rob says, I wasn't talking about you. I'm talking about normie friends and kids. That it is difficult to defend the pace of a lot of these things when the people aren't in the day-to-day grind and think something's bigger is going on behind the scenes. It's not easy to rationalize when that's the case. This must be proof something is happening. The lottery? I don't know. I think the lottery should be abolished as well. I don't see what it does in terms of, I don't see the net positive it brings to society as a whole. Members of Vance's Secret Service are subject of internal probe into alleged media leaks. It's pretty nuts. Typically when we think leaks, we think staffers or people actually within the administration. We don't often think of like Secret Service members. I can't think of any stories off the top of my head where a Secret Service member was leaking to the press. The administrative investigation could become a criminal inquiry, and the allegations involve compromising operational and information security. Member of Vice President J.D. Vance's Secret Service detail is under investigation for allegedly leaking sensitive information. While we will not comment on the specifics, one principle is unequivocal. Any conduct that potentially threatens the safety of a protectee will not be tolerated. The allegations, according to Guglielmi, involve compromising operational and information security. And I kind of assumed it was a leak to the media. That's what I'm guessing it is, considering all the leak investigations that are going on. So I could be wrong. It might not be, but that's my guess if I had to bet on it. Rebel Neighbor, you're doing a good job rationalizing. I try my best. PJ Corrigan, the lottery is an added tax for those that are bad at math. That's a great point. The poor, stupid people's tax. Every now and then I put a couple bucks in, though. You never know. Gator Rob, internal probes and leaks in the same sentence sounds disgusting. New case, I had to read this like 3 times to catch what you're throwing down here, but I like it. Technically, if they're leaking to the press, they're performing a can't keep a secret service. That was clever. Anyway, yeah, so I'm curious to see where this ends up going and if any of the other leak investigations connect to the Secret Service thing, because we've been trying to figure out who's been leaking. Secret Service would be a shocking one. Let's talk about this story, because I thought this was pretty hysterical. But before we get into Schumer and the Democrats preparing for more election doomsday scenarios, why don't we get a quick word from Rumble Studio? If I can get it pulled up here. All right. Quick question. How much control do you have over your money right now? Technology has changed everything, and now it's changing how money works. Crypto started as a niche, but now it's going mainstream with faster payments, more control, fewer middlemen, and this isn't just hype, it's where things are going. And getting started today is easier than you might think. With Rumble Wallet, you can buy Bitcoin, hold dollar-backed stablecoins, and even own digital gold backed by real gold, all in one place in a non-custodial crypto wallet, which means you, not a bank or a platform, controls access to your funds. Setup is super simple. It connects with MoonPay, so you can use your debit card, credit card, or bank account and be up and running in just minutes. And for a limited time, you can start your wallet with a free $10 in US stablecoin just by downloading Rumble Wallet and entering the exclusive promo code HEROLD10 HEROLD10. That's HEROLD10 when you sign up. You can even use Rumble Wallet to support your favorite Badlands creators like those of us here directly. So scan the QR code, click the link in the description of the video, go to wallet.rumble.com/Herold and download Rumble Wallet, set that wallet up, enter promo code Herold10 and get your free $10 in stablecoin. Take control of your money and get started with Rumble Wallet today. Ash 1776, did Vance pick his USSS team? I doubt it. But that's an interesting comment. Jeff Forrest, dude, I sent hundreds of dollars to support Badlands. Do you want this video or not? What are you talking about? I'm so confused. That sounds like a threat, though. So you're going to have to explain what you mean, bro. Where can I send this video? You're going to piss your panties laughing. Oh, you can post the link in the chat or send it on like Twitter or Telegram. But by the way, guys, we appreciate those who support us, but holding your support over our head in order to get us to play videos or something, that's not a great approach. And I do not typically... Oh, then he left. Alrighty then. Adios. So weird. Anyway, okay. Let's talk about this article because I think it's fascinating. Very similar to... No, I'm not even going to say that yet. Let's talk about it first. Schumer convenes Democrats to prepare for election doomsday scenarios. The unprecedented preparation is essential. The Senate Minority Leader said, if every time Trump did one of these things we just froze, he would win. For 2 hours on Wednesday, away from the cameras, in a room just steps away from the Senate chamber, a group of powerful lawmakers rehearsed for some of their darkest fears about November's midterm elections, disinformation triggering voter roll purges in key states before Election Day, National Guard troops deployed to polling places as voters cast their ballots in the machinery of a free election, seizing up in real time. I'm trying to read it like suspensefully, but I guess I doubt I'm doing a good job at that. But I do think this is them trying to like, they're shaping narratives with this very much. So almost a dozen senators seated at long tables arranged in a U shape with notepads and water bottles before them were walked through 3 hypothetical situations set before, on, and after Election Day of 2026. At points, the screens displayed mocked up graphics or artificial intelligence generated videos that could be used to sow disinformation. The exercises are part of a broader effort by Democrats, both inside the government and out, to prepare for anything ahead of November. Republicans often decry their fears as hyperbolic. They may yet be right. But multiple Trump administration officials have declined to rule out ICE agents or other federal law enforcement to polling places in the fall, though doing so would be illegal. And more GOP election deniers are rising into positions essential to safeguarding democracy in the 2026 midterms and 2028 presidential election. We have to prepare for it, Schumer said. What these so-called tabletop exercises teach us is when you're prepared in advance, you can stop a lot of bad things from happening. A lot of the stealing that President Trump will do, that's some projection there if I've ever seen it. But if you just wait for them to do it and should then try to react that day, not good. Let me keep going here. I'm going to skip down a little bit. Pressed on if these warnings and doomsday scenarios, which many Democrats feel are more than warranted given Trump's years of sowing doubt and discord around elections, could backfire by eroding distrust, Schumer quickly shot it down. In a vacuum, you might be right, but Trump is trying, and all his people are trying to scare elections. They threatened the election officials. Mark Elias, so you know it's a great story when Mark Elias is quoted for it, a veteran Democratic elections lawyer who took part in the closed-door exercise, waved off some worry. I don't think that's a message we're sending, Elias told MS Now in an interview at the Capitol. What we're doing is preparing for the fact that Donald Trump in 2020 lied about the election in advance, lied about it in the aftermath, went to court, and then he instigated a violent insurrection in this very building. So I think we need to take these threats in the 2026 midterm run-up, both seriously and literally. While the goal of the scenario planning, as Vanita Gupta put it, is to make sure senators don't have a failure of imagination around these threats, there is also a flip side. I think it'd be dangerous for people to have a catastrophizing attitude around our elections. Like there's a flip side where people can only see the threats and then decide, what, I'm too scared. I'm not going to vote. I'm going to stay home. voters need to feel confident. It's the second one they've had this year. So before, and that's probably all I need to read of this. You guys get the idea. This very, very much reminds me of the Transition Integrity Project of 2020. And for those who aren't familiar with that, most of you probably are. But in the lead up to the 2020 election, there was this group, the Transition Integrity Project, who they did a whole series of tabletop exercises. They war gamed scenarios regarding the transition in the 2020 election. They came to 4 conclusions. Every one of them was pro-Biden, but there was different results. There was Biden narrow win, Trump narrow win, Biden major win, Trump major win. Those are the 4 scenarios, and they gamed out like how they would maneuver their way through there. And every single one of those scenarios resulted in, 3 of the 4 resulted with Biden taking office through challenges or states sending alternate electors, which is funny because they went after Trump for the alternate elector scheme, if you remember. But they literally war game doing that on behalf of Biden if it was a narrow victory. One of the scenarios resulted in like a civil war, like Constitution's broken, we can't do it. None of them could result with Trump in office. But then this was like the precursor. And then in the aftermath of the 2020 election, they came out with that Time article, how the Democrats, like how they fortified the election from Trump. And it went through in detail all these different groups outside of government, people within the government, these NGOs, whatever, how all of these people participated and were ready to help steal the election. They called it fortifying, but it was 100% part of how they stole it. And that is the vibe I'm getting from this new article. They are preparing things, and they use this to shape narratives ahead of the elections. Okay, so number one, I believe the Democrats and like RINOs too, whatever, the RINOs, the Uniparty, the establishment, they are going to commit election fraud in this election. They do it in every election. And until there's some sort of accountability or justice, there's no reason for them to stop. So I expect there to be election fraud, not from the Trump side like they're framing. Okay. But if there is, like if the Democrats do not win, they have had months now of seeding these narratives, and they're going to have more months of it, of how Trump is doing all these things and the elections can't be trusted. And it comes back to a discussion me and Chris had 2 Saturdays ago where we talked about the canceling of the election. And Chris is of the mindset now that it's going to be the Democrats and the Uniparty that end up pushing for that, and they're going to lay it at the feet of Trump. But they'll also want it. It just depends how things are going. I'm very curious to see how this stuff goes out. I think it's going to be hilarious. But the fact that they're tabletopping this stuff and then talking about the tabletop exercise, I bet we'll get a report at some point of all the different things, just like we did in 2020. It's how they justify their extraordinary actions to fortify the election from Trump and the Republicans. I think it's super interesting. Okay, Jeff Forrest sent the video. Tiny Hats, the Jew World Order. Okay, we'll watch this, I guess, as an outro. Or I'll watch it first, then maybe I'll play it on tomorrow's show. How's that? Phil Scarborough, anyone telling you not to vote or not get involved or not to fight is not on the good team and not your friend. I don't know. There are people that I consider good friends and really good people that believe in not voting. So I don't know if I agree with that completely. And Trump just came out and said that, our elections are super stolen. That's what the whole election declassification thing was. So if nothing changes, it's going to be interesting. Plus, John Solomon doesn't vote, Phil. Go yell at him instead of me. What else? Man, I thought I would talk about that thing longer, but I did not. Mortgage rates are at the highest levels in nearly a year. Rising oil prices help push the 30-year fixed rate to 6.58%. That's the 30-year. The 10-year Treasury hit an 18-month high Thursday due to rising oil prices. The move sent oil prices past $100 a barrel. You know what's wild? When you talk about the price per barrel of oil, right? Whatever that price is. I never actually stopped to consider how many gallons of oil are in a barrel. And I looked that up yesterday. And there's like 42 gallons of oil in one barrel. Like, they are making so much money on gas. It's not even funny. Bay through Dave. I never tell people not to vote. I simply remind them to focus on the fraud. Yeah. $2020 and Biden reversal precedes Trump's. Still think it all happens after midterms. Yeah, we'll see what happens. Thanks, Jeff. We appreciate your support, man. Thank you for the rant. And you did it in Bitcoin too. That's even more amazing. But yeah, I'll play it as the outro. What else? Already talked. I thought this was an interesting story. We talked about this, I think, a couple of weeks ago when this was first announced. Why Wall Street firms are paying $100,000 a month for a fast track to Trump's posts. Traders who already monitor the president's announcements with automated systems can pay for an ultra-fast feed. At least 5 firms have signed up so far. President Trump's True Social is selling stock market traders super fast access to his posts on the platform. Many big investment firms have deployed automated systems to monitor True Social, detect important keywords, and take action, often within a fraction of a second, such as initiating or canceling positions, traders said. And we've talked about this. Trump is able to dictate the market with his True Social, and sometimes he does it for the good, sometimes he does it for the bad. I think it's fascinating. But nobody else out there can dictate the market like Trump can with a True Social post. And so in this article, they're talking about how these firms, they have already developed systems using AI to track that stuff. And within a fraction of a second, they can adjust some of their portfolio based on everything. So within a fraction of a second, now True Social is somehow selling quicker access than that, and people are buying it up. Are they going to get like early access to Trump's post or something? Because that's ridiculous if that's true. But I'm going to read through a little bit more of it. They say that it's not going to, like, they're not going to get the access to the posts before they're posted. But like, why would you invest money in something? Well, let me just read it. A Wall Street Journal review of trading data shows how quickly some traders have pounced on the president's online comments. In the minute following 2 of Trump's posts about Iran last month, investors traded more than 2 million shares, according to data from DTN. These traders caused swings of more than 2% in almost 2 dozen energy and industrial stocks. The new Truth API product from TMTG will let firms pay for an even faster readout of the president's posts. The company plans to charge $100,000 a month or $60,000 a month if traders commit for years, according to people familiar with the matter. Those figures are out of reach for many everyday traders who follow the president's social posts closely. The White House referred comments to Trump media. A spokesperson for the company said Truth API is designed to deliver posts the instant they are made public to everyone, not before. But it still doesn't make sense. I'm trying to see. So they're trying to say it's nanoseconds faster. I don't know. I don't buy it. Like, I can't think of why people would pay $100,000 for unless they're getting it before it's actually posted. There's got to be something else here. I know. I'm curious what you guys think. 12 boy, that has been happening for a long time. I know they've been monitoring his posts like that. Of course. Why would you not do that? He's the leader of the free world, and it makes total sense that they would have developed AI to do this stuff. There's them selling earlier access. That's what it seems like. It seems like they're selling earlier access, but trying to say that they're not. Yes, guys, if the stream is not working, please try YouTube. YouTube will be working, is working. Which, by the way, shout out to my YouTubers. You guys are great. Yeah, they're talking about gas over in the YouTube chat. Anyway, let me see if I have any other stories to get to. But I don't think I do. I've been reading through, I'll show you some of my tabs. I've been reading through the old D-Class stuff about the intelligence community the last few days. And man, it's nuts how weaponized these people have become. And some of the intelligence, I want to see the intelligence community completely dismantled. I've said that repeatedly. I don't know if I'm going to get that. And if I don't, if the intelligence community remains as it is, there needs to be like wholesale reform to the way that they do their assessments. And this is coming from somebody with no intelligence community background. I have no idea. I've never been in the room as they've written these things. But just reading through some of these old reports and how they throw these together, and the fact that it allows for some of these false narratives to be pushed, it allows for the political interest of the people putting together the reports to shine through. That has to be completely reformed. I don't know how you come back from it. So I'm hopeful that Trump continues his push to go after this intelligence community with these declassifications, because it's just disgusting. Starting from the 2016 Russia hoax, and even before that with the mid-year exam stuff, all the way through the declass stuff that we've been recently getting, it's just disgusting. All right, I think it's all the stories I got for you guys, if I'm being totally honest. I'll go through rants and see if there's anything else you guys got to say. Otherwise, I'm going to get myself out of here, get some other work done, keep reading the intelligence stuff. If it goes where I think it's going, I might actually write an actual article one of these days, but we'll see. 12 Any Boy for $5. I can't hold anything over someone's head. I let along my support for Badlands. Appreciate you, Ty. Maybe I'll see you in Florida. Jeff Forrest, I got that video from you. I'll play that here at the end. Harold Patriot gifted a subscription to Deb Ralt. Thank you so much. And he also gave $5. Says, thanks for helping us navigate through the political uncertain times. Appreciate you guys. Keith O'Higgins, True Social can't have soft disclosure, so they want fast disclosure. Yeah, it's about the fastest disclosure there is. And then Jeff DeForest says, thank you for all you do. Appreciate you, man. And if I didn't mean to call you out, I just misinterpreted what you said. You know how when you text people sometimes and you can't tell by the tone, like what their tone is, you know, how they're saying things, because that's just as important as what they say. Well, sometimes that happens with comments on Rumble streams. Wires get crossed. I have a question for anybody. Why would Lindsey Graham go to a war zone without security? I think he did. I'm sure he did. Positive he did. I guess that's my assumption, is that he did. I don't know for sure. All right, we're gonna watch the video Jeff Forrest sent over, and then I'll play the outro. I'll get you guys out of here, and I'm gonna send you over to, I think Ghost is probably still live, so I'm probably gonna send you over there once this is done. So hit that thumbs up here and on YouTube. I'd appreciate it. And we'll see you tomorrow right back here at 1 p.m. Eastern on the Daily Herald. You guys have a great rest of your day. And this video is called Guess Who Tiny Hats, the Jew World Order. I am going to say goodbye to YouTube now just in case. So